Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Coffee Talk with Mac. Uh, Today's session is brought to you by Vermont Organic Coffee. One of my favorites. I mentioned it before. I'll have the link on it at the end of the video. I'll provide the link. Excellent coffee. And as always, I drink my coffee black, no sugar. Started drinking coffee about uh, almost 2 years ago. And when I started reading up on the health benefits of drinking coffee. And of course, when doing anything, moderation is the key. Try not to drink coffee after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Try to drink organic coffee. It costs a little bit more, but it's growing better. Less toxins, because bad coffee could be very toxic, but good coffee could be very healthy for you. On my other link, on my health and fitness link, it's Silver Fox Fit Club, www.silverfoxfitclub. I'll put that link down there also. There's a couple of studies about the benefits of drinking coffee. But as always, moderation's the key, and black, no sugar. Anyway, so today I try not to get into political discussions on this side. I like to talk about everyday issues that affects everybody in the day-to-day life and different things that come up outside of the political spectrum. But there is a political issue that's happening today that's affecting everybody, and it can have real long-term adverse effects. And I'm talking about the deliberate attempt to erode some of our personal individual rights. We should always take our individual rights and freedoms sacred. We should hold them close to our heart. And whenever a government entity, whether it's a city, state, county, or federal, when anybody tries to infringe on those rights or erode them, we should put up a fight to it. We should put up a voice. We should have a voice and a say about it. We should not allow our individual rights to be taken away easily. So we should have a fight for them because they mean something. So the one thing that came to mind, and this is what I was thinking about actually for the last few days when I heard this comment, was that a certain political individual who is in a position of power and control and influence stated that our amendments are not absolute. That person can't be, that statement can't be further from the truth. All amendments are absolute. The only way to nullify an amendment legally and constitutionally is through another constitutional amendment. So all amendments are absolute. If you, all of them. Now, there are certain rights that over the years, Congress and local laws and state laws and judges and state judges and federal judges have granted certain exceptions to these rights, but these exceptions are granted for emergency purposes, for the greater good of for everybody. For an example, the Fourth Amendment protects you for unreasonable search and seizures for your persons and your place and your home and your papers. There are exceptions to that. For example, they came out with the vehicle exception because you can drive away while the police are waiting to get a search warrant for your vehicle. So that's the vehicle exception. Then there's the emergency exception, where the police are at your door and they feel there's an emergency, there's imminent danger or harm happening inside on the other side of that door, that they can't take the time to wait an hour or two for a search warrant in front of a judge, that they have to take immediate action right now. But all those exceptions, at the end of the day, the police still have to present themselves in court after the fact and present probable cause about why they did that exception, why they took action without the warrant. So it's not that they're not absolute. They still have to provide that probable cause why they took the action that they did. So it doesn't nullify their requirement. It just postpones their requirement while they take care of the emergency situation. But it has to be an emergency situation. So specifically, that person was talking about the Second Amendment. And over the years, Second Amendment has taken a lot of hits, and Second Amendment has been used as the excuse for escalation of crime and violent crime and mass shootings and other shootings. That can't be further from the truth. As a matter of fact, the Second Amendment does the opposite, protects people. The FBI, Department of Justice, they have documented over the last 20 years that each and every year there's over 200,000 cases, 200 to 400,000 cases of people protecting themselves or their property from life or harm with the use of a firearm. So the Second Amendment protects people, doesn't hinder people. What hinders people are these gun-free zones. When a city, let's say New York City or Chicago or Washington, D.C., and they prevent the people from protecting themselves, the criminals go out of control. When Nicky Barnes was asked, when he was incarcerated, and he was asked, why do you rob banks, Nicky? You know what Nicky Barnes' response was? Because that's where the money is. Well, when the FBI, they did extensive interviews of serial killers, and they asked them why do they choose their targets and how do they choose their targets. Well, serial killers say they look for easy targets. Okay, burglars look for easy targets. Career criminals look for easy targets on the street or the subway. Okay, so when your local government makes it easier for the criminals to do their business and makes it harder for you to protect yourself, the local government is not doing you justice as a tax-paying individual. So are we to trust them that it's a reasonable sensible gun law, that they're not looking to take away your rights? Sure they are. Any kind of infringement is an infringement. Anytime they whittle away at any of your constitutional rights, I don't care what they call it. A duck is a duck. Okay, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So if they want to say, well, we're allowed to enter your home, that's an infringement, and they have to prove why. They have to stand before a judge and prove why they entered your home without a warrant. That's an infringement. So when they say they want to take your rights away to keep and bear arms, that's an infringement. Ironically, the Second Amendment is the only amendment that prohibits the government from using any exceptions. Okay, the Second Amendment specifically states shall not be infringed. None of the others say that. The Second Amendment says it. So that's a clause in the Second Amendment which prevents any exceptions to this amendment, even for emergency purposes. Now let's talk about the fact that they use the excuse that guns are the problem for the rising crime. No, they're not. Look at the gun-free zones. They're heavy in crime. Look at the gun-free cities. Look at the cities where it's hardest for people to arm themselves. New York City, Chicago, Detroit, Newark, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. All places with stringent gun control laws, but high crime. Now look at the places where there's open carry. People, you don't need a permit. You just need a driver's license or ID. And you can walk into a store and buy a gun, right? Tennessee, Idaho, Texas. And the rural areas, low crime. Look at upstate New York, where it's easy to own a rifle or a shotgun. Low crime. But then when you go into the cities where they have gun control, high crime. What does that tell you? It's the criminal element is going to go where the targets are. Okay, so how come there's no mass shootings in a gun show? How come there's no mass shootings in a hunting lodge? Because those are not easy targets. Okay, so it's not the gun, it's the individual behind the gun. And gun-free zones, if you ban guns, criminals aren't going to relinquish their guns. Where's the stupidity in that statement? Okay, we saw that with prohibition. Did it stop drinking? No, it didn't stop drinking. It created a whole organized crime network. That's what prohibition did. So let's stop the nonsense that taking away guns and banning guns is going to stop crime. It doesn't. They're going to point to a study that when they did the last rifle ban and semi-automatic rifle ban from 1994 that crime went down. No, crime went down because police presence went up. Okay, that's when police started around the country started taking back the streets. Aggressive police work started in New York City in 1993 with Comstat 1994, and then it like a spy, like a network, it went out to all the other agencies. So all the other big agencies follow New York City NYPD's crime fighting methods, and that's what reduced crime. Not the fact that they banned rifles. First of all, rifles make up a very, very low percentage of any shootings, any kind of mass shooting. So banning rifles is not going to solve the answer. Now look at the hypocrisy in New York City. They're defunding the police. They're handcuffing the police. They legalized pot in New York State now. And the sole reason the legislators of New York State stated, not because pot should be a recreational use and people should be able to use it within their own home, they legalized it for the sole purpose of stopping a tool, a pretext for stops by the police. And they stated that on the state Senate floor. That's the reason why they legalized pot, so they can prevent the police from stopping people on the street. So they took a tool away from NYPD. They put the handcuffs on NYPD. They're making it hard for NYPD to do their work, and that's why crime is rising. Listen, New York City, it's tough to have a gun, but it's not tough for criminals to get a gun. Okay, they're going to carry guns no matter what. So don't buy this load of crap that banning AR-15s is going to prevent violence in New York City. No, it's not. It's going to prevent you from protecting your family and your property inside your home. That's what it's going to prevent. Now, there are reasons for all amendments. All you have to do is read the Declaration of Independence before you read the Constitution. And they list the grievances. Each one of those grievances became the Bill of Rights. So there are reasons for every one of these rights. The British Crown did certain things that made us write this Bill of Rights. Okay, so there are reasons for it. And don't believe the government. The government's not here to protect you. The government has proven they can't protect you. Okay, over the years, what has the government done that has really been successful? Really, what? Nothing. Now, why is the Constitution so important? Because we live in a constitutional republic. It's an individual's right, not the right of the masses or right of mob rule. The constitutional republic protects the right of the individual against mob rule. People want to come to this country. We have an immigration problem on our southern border. We have people on waiting lists from Europe and Asia waiting to get here. Millions of people are on a waiting list to get here from all around the world, to get here legally. Why do they want to come here? Not because the grass is greener, no, because of the concept, the idea of America, of our Constitution. That's why they want to get here, because our Constitution is absolute, because it's resolute, it's absolute, it's resilient. That's why they want to get, because they're coming from countries where the new dictator just tears up the piece of paper and creates his own laws. They don't want that anymore. So that's something that we need to cherish. Okay, it's very important. It's very important that you fight for your rights. That you don't make it easy for any government, city, state, or federal, to whittle away on any of your rights. Let's call it what it is. Any law against the Second Amendment is an infringement. Let's make it hard for them to do that, not easy. Don't roll over on it. Fight for it, because it's your constitutional right, because many people have died for you to have these rights. Okay? Anything that they throw at you, it's not proven. It's false. Okay? Banning AR-15s is not going to solve the crime problem in America. Banning AR-15s is not going to solve mass shootings. You know, when they have these gun-free zones, they put you're the fish in the barrel. They're making it easy for you to become a victim. In New York City, by disarming people, they made all the citizens a potential victim. Don't be a victim. Cherish your rights. Don't trust the government. I got news for you. The government is not here to help you, okay? They're not here for you. They're here for them. They're here to maintain power. They're here to maintain a status quo. They have proven it over and over and over again. Don't fall victim to their hype, okay? It's nonsense. Anyway, that's my spiel for today. Protect your rights. Remember, organic Vermont coffee. That's Coffee Talk with Mac. Please hit the like button and please subscribe. I promise you there'll be more frequent videos on the way. Thank you. Enjoy your day and protect your rights. It means something.